Now to developing news in the Middle East. President Trump is pondering his decision on what to do about Israel and Iran as the attacks continue. Today, President Trump said he'll decide within 2 weeks whether to launch a military strike on Iran's nuclear sites.
NBC4's Conan Nolan live at our News Operations Center with more on the president's options here. Hey, Conan.
That's right. Well, based on what happened this morning and what we're expecting tonight, the Israeli-Iranian conflict is far from over. But President Trump says he wants to give it more time before committing the U.S. to engage directly on Israel's behalf.
Iranian missiles this morning over the skies of Israel, most taken down by air defense systems, but several got through. One striking the Soroka hospital in southern Israel. Officials say several people were injured, some critically, but there were no deaths. Also hit a business district.
We have 5 buildings that were hit by the missile.
The Iranian government says it was aiming for a military site near the hospital. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stating that we will exact the full price from the tyrants in Tehran. But if the Israeli leader was hoping for quick action for President Donald Trump, he's not getting it. Mr. Trump indicating he's offering Iran time to negotiate before the U.S. intervenes militarily. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. That's a quote directly from the president.
Only the U.S. has the capability to destroy Iran's main nuclear processing facility, which is buried deep underground. But such a bombing could provoke retaliatory attacks on American bases and interests in the region, and could shut down the critical Strait of Hormuz, the only sea passage for major oil and gas producing countries in the Persian Gulf, causing a spike in oil prices. Many within the president's own party are opposed.
What's your message to everyday Trump supporters? They want to see non-U.S. involvement in this war. What's your message?
Trust in President Trump.
Mr. Trump says Iran must not have a nuclear weapon, but he and the Israeli Prime Minister believe the Iranians are close.
And I think they were a few weeks away from having one.
But the U.S. intelligence community, led by the president's own director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, have said no, the Iranians are not close to a nuke. Former Israeli Arab negotiator Aaron David Miller says it may be impossible to know, a fact the president's 2-week delay won't change.
Donald Trump blinked, and it's just as well. He hopes to reach a negotiation with the Iranians, which is going to be very, very difficult. And if that isn't the case, then we're more or less back where we started.
Senate Democrats on Capitol Hill and a number of Republicans have called on the president to seek congressional approval if he were to attack Iran. I'm Conan Nolan, NBC4 News.